Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring a topic that has literally fascinated people for centuries. We're going to uncover the true, holistic depth of yoga. And I mean looking way, way beyond those expensive yoga pants and the basic physical stretching you usually see scrolling through social media. We're actually going to look at the anatomy, the breaths, and the incredible energy systems that make this practice so transformative. Okay, let's dive into this. When a lot of us hear the word yoga, we immediately picture someone, effortlessly bending themselves into a complete pretzel, or at the very least touching their toes. But is that all it is? Let's bust that common myth right now. If we look at the actual foundational texts, yoga is absolutely not just about extreme flexibility. It's actually a comprehensive toolkit for both the mind and the body. So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with the physical foundation, move into accessibility and safety, explore the engine of breath, dive into the subtle body, and finally wrap things up with integration and longevity.
All right, section 1, the physical foundation, more than stretching.
Let's kick things off by defining a term you're going to hear a lot. Asana. To strip away all the jargon, asanas are simply the physical yoga postures, but they do so much more than just stretch your muscles out. Regular practice builds some serious muscular strength, especially in your core, arms, legs, and back. It even aids in detoxification by essentially massaging and promoting the function of your internal organs. And mentally, it's a powerhouse for stress relief. Practicing these postures actually relaxes your nervous system, sharpens your mental clarity, and balances the flow of your prana, that's your life force, throughout your whole body. And this brilliantly illustrates how, to get those deep physical benefits, we really have to execute these asanas safely with intelligent alignment. It's not about just throwing your body into a shape, right? Here's a great mental checklist to use. First, stack the joints. For instance, in downward facing dog, your wrists should be directly under your shoulders, so you don't strain those joints. In Warrior 1, your front knee should be perfectly aligned right over your ankle. Second, always engage the core to protect your lower back. Third, align the spine, keeping its natural curves instead of just rounding it out. And finally, engage the legs, which really stabilizes the whole body and prevents you from overstretching. Moving right along to section 2, accessibility and safety. Yoga for everybody.
A massive takeaway from the source material is that yoga adapts to your individual needs and limitations, never the other way around. It is simply not about pushing your body to extremes. It's really about listening to your body's signals and modifying intelligently. Got a bad back, knee issues, or high blood pressure? There are specific modifications you should definitely take. And honestly, props are your absolute best friends here. Like using a block in triangle pose helps you keep proper alignment and avoid straining that lower back if your hamstrings are feeling a bit tight. Straps, blankets, and even chairs or a blank wall allow literally anyone to safely experience the full benefits of the practice.
Section 3. So, the crucial point is the engine of breath powering the practice. While the physical postures are fantastic, they're really just the vehicle. The true secret engine driving this whole thing is pranayama. The word itself comes from prana, meaning life force, and ayama, meaning control or extension. Basically, this is the practice of consciously controlling your breath. But why does this actually matter? Well, because your breath acts like a literal remote control for your nervous system. Through pranayama, you can actively influence the 5 vital pranas or life forces that govern everything, from your heart and lungs to your digestion, right down to your cellular circulation. It's what prepares your body for deep meditation. It's totally amazing how just varying your breathing technique changes your biology. Let's do a quick run-through. Ujjayi breath uses a slight constriction in the back of your throat to create this ocean-like sound. It builds heat and incredible focus during physical postures. Then there's Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing, which actually balances the left and right hemispheres of your brain and literally melts away stress. Kapalabhati involves forceful exhales to deeply detoxify and energize your whole system. And Brahmari, known as the bee breath, uses a humming sound to deeply soothe the mind and just alleviate anxiety. What's wild is how we can use these tools to consciously flip our internal circuitry. Need a boost? Energizing breaths like Kapalabhati and Bhastrika stimulate your sympathetic nervous system. They hike up your oxygen intake, boost immunity, and totally invigorate the body. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, you just switch to calming breaths like Nadi Shodhana and Brahmari. These instantly activate your parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and digest state, lowering your heart rate and promoting deep physiological peace. Which brings us to section 4, the subtle body, energy and chakras. So, according to yogic philosophy, your physical body is surrounded by a subtle energy field. This features the nadis, which is basically an intricate network of an astonishing 72,000 subtle energy channels carrying life force throughout your entire being. Think of it like a giant energetic highway system. When these channels get blocked up by stress or emotional residue, we feel sluggish or unwell. Pranayama acts as the ultimate cleanser, clearing out these pathways so your energy can just flow freely again. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how specific this energetic control can actually get. Out of those 72,000 channels, 2 of the main ones terminate right at your nostrils. The Pingala Nadi is associated with your right nostril. It carries solar, heating, and activating energy. The Ida Nadi is connected to your left nostril, and that carries lunar, cooling, and calming energy. Which means, crazy enough, breathing exclusively through your right nostril literally heats and energizes your body, while breathing through the left cools and calms it right down. And right along the central channel of your spine are the 7 chakras, or energy centers. The physical postures and the breath work we just talked about actually target these specific centers. For instance, deep, heart-opening backbends, like camel pose, are designed to activate and balance the heart chakra, the center for compassion and emotional well-being. Grounding poses target the root chakra for stability. Meanwhile, specific breath retention practices can stimulate the higher centers, like the third eye and crown, for intuition and awareness. Finally, Section 5, Integration for Longevity Beyond the Mat. Let's take all these incredible theoretical concepts and bridge them directly into your daily life. Because why does all this matter for the long haul? It matters because a holistic yoga practice literally changes your biology. Regulating your breath preserves your vital organs and saves your body's energy. It directly reduces the secretion of cortisol, that pesky stress hormone, which in turn balances your entire endocrine system. The increased cellular oxygen from pranayama enhances your everyday vitality. And perhaps most importantly, by teaching us to observe discomfort in a physical pose without immediately reacting to it, yoga builds incredible emotional resilience against the daily stressors of life. Let's move to and see how this builds into a highly actionable daily routine using the tools we've just learned. The absolute best part. You do not need a 90-minute class to get these benefits. Start your morning with just a few minutes of Nadi Shodhana for some calm focus. Right before a workout, use Kapalbhati to flood your system with energizing oxygen. Feeling scattered at your desk around noon? Take a midday break with Brahmari, the bee breath, to reset and refocus your mind. And in the evening, use a slow Ujjayi breath to signal to your nervous system that it is time to prepare for a restful sleep. So, as we've seen, yoga is just so much more than making shapes on a mat. It is a profound science of managing your physical vitality and your mental peace through the sheer power of your own breath. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question to ponder. How will you bring mindful breath into the rest of your day today? Remember, the remote control for your nervous system is literally right there under your nose. Use it well. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep exploring.